If you're building iOS apps, understanding the lifecycle is essential. It determines when your interface can respond to the user, when work should pause, what happens after the app leaves the screen, and which pieces of the state can disappear without warning. In this video, we're going to follow one app through those stages and build a practical model for SwiftUI, scenes, backgrounding, and state restoration. Imagine that we're building a Notes app called TrailNote. A user opens a note beside a lake, types an observation, drops a location pin, and attaches a photo. They might briefly open their control center, switch to maps, lock the phone, or return several hours later. Whatever happens, they expect their note to still make sense when they come back. When the user taps the app icon, iOS launches the apps process and creates the application. In a modern SwiftUI project, the type marked with main is the entry point. Its window group declares a scene, and that scene contains a SwiftUI view hierarchy that draws TrailNote. That wording matters. The app is the running program, but a scene is one instance of its user interface. On an iPhone, the user normally works with one scene. On an iPad, the same app can handle two TrailNote windows open at once, perhaps showing two different notes. Those windows belong to one app process, but each scene has its own lifecycle. As the first TrailNote scene moves onto the display, it passes through the inactive phase and becomes active. Active simply means that the scene is in the foreground and interactive. The user can type, move the map, take a photo, and press buttons. Animations, camera previews, and other foreground experiences can operate normally. In SwiftUI, we observe this using the scenePhase value from the environment. It has three cases: active, inactive, and background. A view can react when that value changes, so the behavior follows the scene that actually contains the view. Now imagine that the user pulls down the control center while editing the note. TrailNote is still visible behind the system interface, but it is no longer receiving normal interaction. Its scene becomes inactive. And inactive does not mean hidden, destroyed, or saved. It means the scene remains in the foreground, but should temporarily quit its work. The app can pause its camera preview, stop an attention-sensitive animation, and avoid assuming that every tap or keyboard event belongs to it. This phase is often brief, so it is a transition to handle, not a piece of large blocking save operation. When the control center closes, the scene becomes active again. If the process stayed alive, the same in-memory note model is still there. The editor resumes and the camera preview can restart, and then the user can continue without a reload. Next, the user switches to maps. TrailNote leaves the display and its scene moves to the background phase. Background means that the scene is no longer visible. This is the moment to stop work that only makes sense on screen, release expensive presentation resources, protect sensitive content in the app switcher snapshot, and make sure important changes have already been recorded. But again, background does not mean terminated. For a short time, the process may still execute. Soon afterward, iOS can suspend it. Suspension is not another phase in value. It means that the process can remain in memory while its code receives no CPU time. The objects may still exist, but they are not running. That gives us an important distinction. Background describes the scene, while suspension describes the process. A background scene might receive a small amount of execution time, or the process might already be suspended. Treating those as the same thing leads to lifecycle bugs. If the user returns while the process is still in memory, iOS brings the scene through inactive and back to active. The draft, map position, and view model can still be present because nothing needed to be reconstructed. This is the cheapest return path and it often feels instantaneous. However, we cannot depend on that path. While the app is suspended, iOS may terminate its process to reclaim resources. The app normally doesn't get a dependable final callback at that moment. Memory disappears, including the scene, its views, and every ordinary model object inside the process. And if you're coming from Android development, this might actually seem pretty familiar, as the same traps exist on both systems. When the user comes back after process termination, iOS performs a new launch. TrailNote receives a new process, creates new scene and view instances, and must reconstruct the experience from the saved information. The user actually sees the same node, but the objects representing it are not the old objects. This is where lifecycle knowledge becomes state design. We need to decide which values only matter to the current view, which values help restore one scene, which preferences belong to the whole app, and which data must survive indefinitely. Suppose the editor has a small boolean that controls whether a formatting panel is expanded. That can be a local SwiftUI state. A value managed with state survives normal body updates while SwiftUI keeps that view identity, but it is not permanent storage and it is not a promise that the value will survive process termination. The current node model has a larger responsibility. It owns the draft text, attachment state, and save operations that several views need. In modern SwiftUI, that model can use the observation system and be held at a stable ownership point in the hierarchy. SwiftUI redraws the views that read changed properties, but redrawing a view is not the same as changing the scenePhase or relaunching the app. That separation is easy to miss. A SwiftUI view may have its body evaluated many times while the app scene remains active. A child view can appear because the user navigated to it, then disappear when they go back. None of that means that the app entered the background. For that reason, onAppear, onDisappear, and Task describe the lifecycle of a particular view in the hierarchy. They are useful for work owned by that view. A SwiftUI task can also be cancelled when its view disappears. These APIs should not be used as substitutes for the scene lifecycle. If we need a lightweight clue that belongs to one TrailNote window, scene storage can help. We might store the identifier of the node open in that scene, the selected editor tab, or a small navigation value. The system manages the storage per scene and may restore it later. This is lightweight restoration data and not a database, and Apple does not promise exactly when it will be persisted. Per scene storage is especially useful on an iPad. One window can remember node A, while another remembers node B. Closing one window removes that scene and its scene-specific state without implying that the entire TrailNote process has ended. On the other hand, for a small preference shared across launches, such as whether TrailNote uses satellite or standard map style, app storage can reflect a value stored in the user defaults. That setting belongs to the app experience rather than one specific node window. The node itself is different. The text, location, and photo are real user data. They belong in persistent storage such as SwiftData, core data, a file, or a server-backed repository. State, scene storage, and app storage are not substitutes for storing the work that the user expects to keep. The app can therefore save edits as they change, persist the photo attachment, and keep only the node identifier as a restoration clue. After a new launch, the scene restores that identifier, the model loads the node from the repository, and SwiftUI renders a fresh editor. New objects recreate a continuous experience. This also helps explain why waiting for termination is unsafe. UIKit provides an application termination callback in some circumstances, but a suspended app can be removed without receiving the final moment developers hope for. Important data should be saved before that point, ideally as it changes and certainly when the scene moves away from active use. What if the app still needs to finish something after the user leaves though? Entering the background does not grant unlimited runtime. iOS expects background apps to do as little as possible unless they use a supported background mechanism. Work that genuinely needs additional time should use the appropriate system API, such as a background task, a supported background mode, or a transfer API designed for that job. The lifecycle event tells us that the scene left the screen. It does not create permission to run forever. There is one more important detail that matters in multi-window apps. Reading scenePhase from inside a view gives us the phase of the scene containing that view. Reading it at the top app level gives us an aggregate result across the app's scenes. If one TrailNote window is active while another sits in the background, the app can still report an active aggregate phase. Thus, it is recommended to put scene-specific behavior near the scene that owns it. Even if you're using UIKit instead of the SwiftUI app lifecycle, the same model still applies. A sceneDelegate receives events as its scene connects, enters the foreground, becomes active, resigns active, enters the background, and disconnects. The method names are different, but the underlying question remains the same. Is this scene visible? Is it interactive? And what resources belong to it? And, of course, can its interface be rebuilt? Disconnection deserves careful wording. A disconnected scene is no longer attached to its current session, so scene-owned resources should be released. That event still does not mean that the whole app process must be terminated. Another scene may remain open, or the system may reconnect and interface later. The iOS lifecycle becomes much easier to understand when we stop looking for one callback that means that the app is gone. There are several nested lifetimes. The process can launch, suspend, resume, or terminate. Each scene can become active, inactive, or can be moved to the background independently. SwiftUI views can appear, disappear, and update many times inside the same active scene. So for TrailNote, the practical model is now clear. Active means that the scene is interactive. Inactive means that it is still in the foreground but should pause attention-sensitive work. Background means that it is no longer visible. Suspension means that the process is kept in memory but does not execute. Termination means in-memory state is gone and the experience must be rebuilt. Around those states, each storage tool has one job. Local state controls temporary view details. An observable model coordinates live screen data. Scene storage remembers small clues for one window. The app storage holds lightweight preferences. Finally, persistent storage protects the node the user actually created. When you build an iOS screen, ask 3 questions. Which scene owns this work? Should it run while the scene is inactive or in the background? And finally, what information is required to reconstruct the experience if the process no longer exists? Answer those questions and the lifecycle stops feeling like a list of callbacks. It becomes a map for deciding where work and state belong. And that pretty much wraps up this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my Android lifecycle video as well, and if you have any comments or suggestions, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And with that, thanks for watching, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.